Hello and welcome to Country Life Simple. Today I need to make some laundry powder and I thought I'd show you how I make it. I've been making my own laundry powder for about 10 years now, and although I have used commercial laundry powder a couple of times in between because of various circumstances, I always reverted back to my homemade one because I feel that just cleans so much better and is so much cheaper. I haven't actually done the exact math, but I'll try to do that and put it down in the description box so you can take a look. I know it's definitely at least 50% cheaper, probably even cheaper than that. So I'll show you how I make it. There's a couple of different options and I'll show you what I do. There's heaps of different recipes online. You can see I find this recipe very good. It cleans very well. My personal clothes, they're normally not all that dirty. They might be sweaty. In summer they could be sweaty, and I do like to wear a lot of light colored clothes, so I always like to bring the the whiteness back in it, and don't like that yellow tinge you can get with commercial washing detergents. But my hubby, he works in the yard all the time. His clothes are really dirty. And when I work in the garden, my clothes are really dirty as well. There's soil on it, there is rocks on it, there is chicken manure on it, you name it, it's on it. Big stains. Sometimes when I cook, I don't put on the apron, and of course every time I do not put on the apron, I splatter some fat or some tomato sauce or anything like that on me. So yeah, our clothes can be dirty, but there's no mechanics or anything like that in the family, so there's no oil and grease. I haven't really got too much experience of that, but I know like the normal cooking splatters, I get off with my homemade detergent. Well, I haven't had a chance with the commercial ones. They just don't take that off. I have to pre-soak it or pre-treat it before I should put it in the wash. So like I said, this is the recipe I'm using, lots of variations, but for me this works. So first thing is you need some pure soap. You can use this soap you find in the two big major supermarkets. Not quite sure how much this costs these days, but you can use these. There's no smell to them. They're just a pretty bland soap. You also can buy the Dr. Bronner's soaps. They're pure Castile soap bars, and they come with a fragrance. So this one is peppermint. I've got a green tea one. So if you want to get some fragrance in, you either can add some essential oils or you can actually use one of these soaps. Don't use one of those hand washing soaps. There's other stuff in there. They need to be proper pure soaps. So I make it in the Thermomix. You don't have to. You don't have to buy a Thermomix for Nutella, like in my last video, or for making washing detergent. You can use whatever you like. You can use a food processor. You can cut it into small pieces. You can use one of those grater things. Use whatever you have. So obviously this bar of soap won't help you. So we need to make this into small pieces. And even though I put it in the Thermomix, I normally do cut it a few times just to, have the Thermomix working overtime. So for Now where I managed to get the soap into the Thermomix, I grinded it, and it's looked like beautiful little soap flakes. You can also buy soap flakes. I think they from Lux. They're pure soap flakes. They're more expensive than the Sunlight pure soap brand, so not quite as economical. I'm not quite sure how much more it is, but yeah, definitely more, but you don't have to do anything. So alright, I normally try to use the ratio 1 part of soap, 2 part of washing soda. So I buy my washing soda in big 20 kilo containers from Bland's. I'll put the link in the description box below. I find this really economical because This lasts a long time, it doesn't go off, it's in a nice box. So yeah. So I've got about 300 grams of soap in here, so I'm adding about 600 grams of washing soda. So I personally also add some sodium percarbonate. This is a stain remover. So this is like your nappy sand or your, what are they called? The oxy something. It's like your varnish, like a stain remover. And it's really, really effective. You don't need a lot of it. You don't have to add it. You could theoretically, if you have dirty clothes, you can just add like, you know, a little bit of this separately. But I just like to mix it in the laundry powder because that is one less step I have to do when I actually do the washing. So I don't use a lot of this at all. You know, I can't find the opening. So be careful with all of these. They're still chemicals. They're still harmful. Don't inhale this. I'm in the garage here. My laundry's in the garage. Don't inhale this. Don't do it in an enclosed room. Just, you know, make sure you don't breathe in any of that dust. That's just no good for anyone. So I've got 300 grams of pure soap. I've got 600 grams of washing soda. And now I'm going to add probably about 100 grams, 70 grams, I'd say 70 grams of the sodium percarbonate. So this is just about a quarter of a cup. And then I'm only mixing this in the Thermomix, so theoretically I can just use a spoon, but you know, I'm lazy and I'll just do it in the Thermomix quickly. And voila, this is my washing powder. And this will last me for a few months. So you only need about a tablespoon of this. It is much more concentrated than store-bought stuff. And I'll put this in my container. And I'm done. So your next question is going to be, now we've got this, what do we do with fabric softener? Do I use fabric softener? No, of course I don't. I don't use store-bought chemicals, at least not in that form, cleaning supplies. So for my fabric softener, a lot of people use vinegar. Vinegar can be quite aggressive on seals and some of the components of the washing machine. I used to use vinegar at the beginning, but I now have changed to citric acid, which, where do I buy it from? Blends as well. Description in the details in the description box below. Citric acid is not as corrosive as vinegar, but it helps you with getting rid of all of the soap residues or potentially washing. A lot of people use baking soda as well in washing powder. I don't like that because often it leaves a film on your clothes or some white spots. Don't like it. It can help with some whites if you have, you know, really sort of stained whites or you know, those whites which have turned yellow. You can use a bit of baking soda and that takes it out of it. And normally I don't use baking soda on my clothes. I use it in the kitchen, but not on my clothes. So for fabric softener, I use the citric acid. And again, you don't need a lot of it. I normally use about a tablespoon of citric acid. and I dissolve it in a cup of warm water. So this water has just boiled, and you see it's immediately dissolved. So I need to wait until this has cooled down, because I do keep it in my empty vinegar bottles. And I basically just pour this into it and fill it up with water. So it's highly concentrated, but it's quite effective, so you don't need a lot. And then when I use it, I don't know how much I use actually. I just pour a zip into it, just touch, and that's all I use. So without doing this video and without having that little accident, it normally takes me about 5 minutes to make these things, and I'm probably, you know, this washing powder will last me, I don't know, probably close to the end of this year. So it's not a big effort, and like I said, it is quite cheap. It's much more potent than commercial washing powders I found, and I have tried, like when I go away on holidays, I normally don't take this, and you know, I normally go away for work. There's normally a washing machine. If I wash my clothes, they never get clean. They just, you know, if I spilled something, I never get them clean. I come home, put them in the washing machine with my own detergent, they're clean. So yep, I do like this, and it's cheap. We're all feeling the pinch at the moment. We all have to, you know, try and get by, so saving a few coins is always good. And yeah, basically 3 ingredients: sunlight soap, washing soda, and the sodium percarbonate is optional, so you don't have to use this if you don't want to. You can continue using Napisan or Oxywash or whatever they're called. I don't actually know because I don't buy them. So this is way stronger. It's actually, if you look at the ingredients of those kind of chemicals, the main ingredient is sodium percarbonate. So why not take all the fillers out and just use that? So when the washing machine is finished, I take out the container where the washing powder goes in, and normally there is always a bit of water in it. I'll wipe it dry, and I'll probably rinse it, give it a proper clean, maybe every quarter or so. Especially if you do use fabric softener, it is important to clean this regularly, because otherwise there's some slime, and that's not nice for the washing. I also use my cloth and just wipe inside here. This is an area which can get moldy if you do not clean it. Then open my washing machine, take my washing out. And I do line dry all my washing. I hardly ever use the dryer, although I do have one. I hardly ever use it, really just for pillows, and if we have consecutive rainy days, which does happen unfortunately, or fortunately. So I wipe the glass. I wipe the inside of the seal, so I open this up and wipe on the inside, especially down at the bottom here. There's always water. So really open up this area and see how clean it is. You see in some washing machines, this is where the mold sticks. I go all around on the inside of the seal, then I wipe the outside, and I will leave the washing machine open until this afternoon to let it dry from the inside. Another thing to maintain at the front of the washing machine is the filter. So you open this little area up, especially if you have like dog hair or something like that, it can get stuck in here. You open this and there will be water coming out. And I normally just use a glass to capture that water. It normally isn't a lot. No, that was it. So once you release the water, so then you take this out. This is the filter. There might still be some water coming out. I'm in the shed here, so it doesn't matter that much. Actually, inside, have a little cloth in front of it. Take the filter out and you make sure you give this filter a good clean. Often hair and if you have coins or anything which shouldn't go in the washing machine, it sort of accumulates in here. So once you clean this, you put it back in, make sure it's tight, and you're done. I probably do this every, I don't know, 6 months or so. Good opportunity to give the floor clean. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you give making your own washing powder a go because, yeah, it's efficient and effective. Thank you for watching. See you soon. Bye.